Today we're going to be going over 10 huge compliment pulling fragrances from some of the biggest designer brands that are out there. So these brands here are pretty much some of the biggest leaders in the community when we're talking designer fragrances. And when it comes to designer scents, generally speaking, they're going to be sales driven. And what generates sales more than mass appeal and compliments and word of mouth as a result of all of that? So each of these big designer brands definitely have some hits that really work well and resonate with the masses and just people around you. You really cannot go wrong with any of these if you just want to smell good to people around you. I'll drop some links to these down below. I also have a mailing list you can sign up to if you want to get the best deals possible, if you want to get an opportunity to purchase some rare, discontinued, or hard to find things. That's going to be the place you want to be. Let's just dive right into it. We're going to get kicked off with the brand of Giorgio Armani. Many things you could choose from, and I guess I should preface this by saying I'm featuring 10 here, but there could be many more from each of these brands. You know, I have to narrow it down so much. I don't want to pack this list full of a ton of stuff and make it hard to digest, so choosing one from each brand. There are others that you could choose as well, but for Armani, I'm going with Acqua di Gio Profondo. You cannot go wrong with a freshie at the end of the day. Now, I would also think of something like Armani Code Profumo, Armani Code The Original, Armani Code Parfum, Armani Code Absolute, any of the codes. You could even go over into the Stronger With Yous as well. Ton of options, but again, the fresh ones oftentimes do it the best. At least when we're talking mass appeal and overall just simplicity and easy to wear and just playing it as safe as possible, it's hard to beat something like this. This one's got mineral notes, some orange, some aquatic notes, of course. It's a different take on an aquatic scent. It takes that original Acqua di Gio DNA, puts a twist on it, separates it from the other flankers as well. So this one isn't redundant at all. You know, it really does stand out among all of the others in the line and just all of the other fragrances on the market in general. Next up, we have Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. So obviously, the brand of Chanel has many choices as well. You could go with any of the Bleu de Chanels. Take your pick, whichever one is your favorite. We'll get you compliments. Ultimately, though, I think the Allure Homme Sport and Sport Eau Extreme are great options as well because these offer a different level of versatility, a little bit more of a cooler weather approach, but still has kind of a warmer spring weather type of smell also with Eau Extreme. You know, you do get a mintiness, but then you also get a little bit of a dusty, powdery sweetness from the tonka bean, a little bit of a kind of orange accord as well. So it kind of bridges the gap and does a whole bunch of different things combined into one. Now, with a product like this, any Chanel, you have to pay up for it. Retail is really the only way to go. If you were to buy these at discounters, you're actually paying more. Discounters have to mark them up above retail, otherwise they would get sued. So your best bet is to hop over to Chanel.com and just buy it. You'll get the fancy presentation and packaging and Chanel box that you'll likely throw away anyway, but it's still cool. If you're going to spend the money, you might as well just do it that way. It is worth it though. If you get the 150 ml, the price per ml works out to be better than if you were to get a 50 ml bottle especially. I would not recommend buying 50 mls of any Chanel. You're just better off going for the 100 at a bare minimum or stepping up to the 150. You get better bang for your buck and you'll get a lot of use out of this stuff. From the brand of Yves Saint Laurent, we have Yves Le Parfum, another brand of which holds many compliment beasts. So you could go with La Nuit de l'Homme, you could go with L'Homme Le Parfum, or anything along those lines. Ultimately, I think right now in 2023, the Y line is going to be the best one if you are compliment focused. Now, I think this is a fantastic one to dive into. It's a little bit more refined than the Eau de Parfum, but not quite as refined and mature as the Eau de Parfum Intense, the newest one, which you guys know I love a lot. Big fan of that one. One of the better releases that we've had this year, surprisingly, even though it's a Y flanker. That takes the sweetness almost completely out of the DNA, that apple fruity sweetness, Wild Eau Parfum still maintains that along with the aromatics, you know, the sage, the lavender, and you get some amberwood, tonka bean as well. So that sweetness with the fruitiness, I think, is what ultimately drives the overwhelming force of compliments from this. And so the Le Parfum is kind of a nice middle ground to where you're not going necessarily too far in one extreme or the other. From the brand of Prada, we have Luna Rossa Carbon. They're pretty much the king of making soapy clean scents. And this is kind of one of them. You know, this is a Sauvage-inspired scent. However, what this one does differently is it smooths out the edges. You know, the sharp, spicy, bergamot-focused, bright edges of Sauvage Eau de Toilette are non-existent here. It's smooth, it's a little bit sweet, it's refined. It's really, really well done. I've been a fan of Carbon for years, legitimately. And this is my original bottle. I don't know how well this is showing up, but yeah, look at that level. I mean, I've put a dent in this. I do spray it heavy-ish. You know, it's not as strong as Sauvage. That's one of the only issues with it. However, everything else checks out. Quality is amazing, stunning. The scent smells beautiful. It's a compliment puller, and it just works well for any situation. It's even a little bit more unique and interesting than Sauvage. There's a little bit more depth in this one, which I really like. Gotta love this stuff. From the brand of Dior, speaking of not Sauvage, we're going with Homme 2020. So yeah, you could easily put in pretty much any of the Sauvages, maybe except for Elixir, which, not to say Elixir won't get you compliments, but in terms of one of the best compliment pulling fragrances from the brand, Elixir is not one of them. Sauvage Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, Parfum, and Very Cool Spray, all great options, but that's a predictable one. Maybe this is too, but probably not as much. And let's be real, most of this list is going to be predictable to people like me and you, maybe. But if you're someone that's newer and you're trying to focus on stuff like this is very much a helpful video because you want to get things that please the masses. And this type of thing is one of them. So this has vetiver, cashmeran, isoe super, and some other woods as well. So some cedar wood and that sort of thing. It's very woody, and that's really what it all is about. You know, it's modern, upscale, masculine, very classy. It's nothing like the original Dior Homme or any of those with iris. Completely different, so don't get them twisted. But this is going to be the safer compared to those, and ultimately more versatile and more mass-pleasing. And this actually has great performance too. Next up, Light Blue Intense by Dolce & Gabbana, or Oh Intense, whatever you want to call it. Now this one has been out for a while now, and when you look at the Dolce & Gabbana brand, again, there's a few different directions you could go. Like I could have gone with the One, and that's a great way to go. The only issue with that is performance. At the end of the day, when it comes to getting compliments, people have to smell you. That's the one thing that matters most, more than anything else. You can't get compliments on a fragrance if they can't smell it. If you can project that scent to someone, and maybe it's a scent that's kind of out there, you know, kind of a niche, unique scent that's a little bit iffy. If you're getting that out to people, one or two people are going to at least think it smells decent enough to maybe say something about it. But if you're not getting your scent out there at all, 0% chance, and that's very important. I love Dolce & Gabbana The One, been very vocal about that. My bottle also is very low, just like this one is. I wear a ton of it. However, when it comes to day-to-day use and getting mass appeal, Oh Intense actually is going to be the better option. It is a better performer, better projection, better longevity. It's another fresh one. These do it really well, and you can't beat it. Paco Rabanne, this is a giant in the space when it comes to mass-pleasing scents in general. And look, there could have been a million different options for this. Ultimately, I'm going with Invictus Legend just because it's an option that works. It's got bay leaf, sea salt, sea notes, grapefruit, amber. You could have gone with the original Invictus. You probably could have even snuck Invictus Victory in, maybe even the Elixir. You could have gone for the discontinued Invictus Aquas, fantastic choices. You could go over into the 1 million lineup and go with something like 1 million the original, 1 million Lucky, Elixir, the discontinued Privé. This brand is solely built around mass appeal and marketing. Okay, they very much focus on the marketing aspect of their scents, and you can tell just by looking at them. So ultimately, you can be pretty confident that if you pick up a Paco Rabanne scent for men, that it's going to get you compliments, right? They make it very easy. So the choice is up to you. Go out there, smell as many as you can, and decide for yourself. Invictus Legend is one that you can get on discounters for a pretty good price, and it just always does the job. From the brand of Versace, we have Dylan Blue. So again, another one where they have many things to choose from. Eau Fresh, Pour Homme, and of course, what a lot of people probably think of first, the Eros line, and definitely those would also be great. But I think when it comes to factoring everything together, price, performance, quality, mass appeal, Dylan Blue is at the top. It really, really is. Dylan Blue is actually cheaper than pretty much all of the Eros flankers. This is in the $40 to mid $40 range, 100 mil. You can get a giant 200 mil bottle like this one here for, I think, in the 60s, maybe low 70s. So price per mil wise, this definitely makes sense, although not everyone needs this much, right? It's all up to what you're going to be using it for. But if you're going to wear it every day, no reason not to get this size bottle. Now the Eros flankers are going to be a little bit more expensive, up into the 50s and beyond. Eros Parfum, even at discounters, still like, 80, 90, so definitely going to be the most affordable option, but it will not let you down. Tom Ford is a brand that we have to feature. They're a giant in the space as well. You could go over into the private blends and have fun and spend a lot of money, or you could go with their more budget-friendly signature line. Now these are still expensive, okay, but compared to the private blends, they're a walk in the park. And Ombre Leather comes to mind. Now you could go with something like a Noir Extreme, either the Eau de Parfum or the Parfum. Those have been out for a while, tested and proven, or at least the EDP has. The Parfum very closely follows that one and also will do a great job. They're sweet gourmands with a twist, a lot of cardamom in them, really great scents. But Ombre Leather, I think, is another one that maybe is overlooked when it comes to compliment pullers. People generally might not think of this. A lot of people maybe would mix this up with Tuscan leather, which is very challenging, very leathery in an animalic way, and not a good fit for this video. But Ombre Leather is. It's fresher, it's ozonic, it's brighter, it's just easier to wear overall, and very likable. Last up for this video, Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense version. So this is a new release. It's got vanilla, lavender, and vetiver. This line is going to be quite a bit different than Uomo Intense, the original Uomo, and things of that nature. But when it comes down to all of these flankers, Yellow Dream and things of that nature, I like this one the best so far. Again, a new release, but it's really a good job here. Still has some of that fresh kind of bubblegummy sweetness, but then with a sweeter vanillic sweetness, almost a little bit of a gourmand feel, a little bit of a fresh woodiness in the base from the vetiver here. I like how this one turned out quite a bit. You get a lot of different aspects all combined into one, which I think is pretty cool. In terms of, something that smells super unique, this isn't it, but you wouldn't expect it to be. This is a video all about mass appealing scents, and this one's going to do the job. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be a higher success rate of getting compliments with this compared to something like Uomo Intense in the original, and so this is why it makes the video. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 of the best compliment pulling fragrances from 10 huge designer brands. These will work for any situation. They're just going to smell great to everybody. Links will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.